Manchester United can use Newcastle takeover to complete Erling Haaland transfer. Man United will have a potential new powerful competitor in the Premier League after Newcastle takeover was made official. If you had just woken up from a 2 years long sleep, you might be more surprised that Newcastle United have been linked with the transfer for Erling Haaland than learning that the world had been shut down due to a pandemic. It was announced last week that Newcastle had been successfully purchased by a Saudi Arabian-led consortium and that news said reverberation around world football as the takeover is expected to signal the birth of a new genuine superpower. Of course, we have the same ambition as Manchester City and PSG in terms of trophies, absolutely, but it will take time. I'm a Stavely believe to be the most influential figure in engineering the takeover, said upon the completion of the deal. While talk is cheap and promises can be easily broken, Premier League clubs will have set up and taken notice of their squads. Newcastle's new custodians demanded attention when outlining their ambition, and they would have grabbed Manchester United. United were well established as the Premier League's greatest club before the influx of questionable millions into the English game, but the Reds have since had to keep pace with Roman Abramovich's Chelsea and Sheikh Mansour's Manchester City, something that result on the pitch suggests they are ultimately struggled with United last won a trophy 4 years ago. So, could United actually compete with another emerging superpower? It goes without saying, of course, they could. Newcastle revenue and infrastructure pale in comparison to United's, and with financial fair play rules now installed by FIFA, their spending will be gradual, which means there won't be an immediate threat to oligostructure side in the next few years. It is expected that Steve Bruce will be relieved of his duties this week, and reports linking Newcastle with players such as Haaland, Anthony Martial, Jesse Lingard, Eric Bailly, and Tony Van de Beek are all too predictable given the circumstances. There is undoubtedly a new gas-rich player coming to the table in the transfer market, though, and United can turn this game of poker to their advantage by deploying a transfer plan that can be inspired by the mistake of their rivals Manchester City. Also, when City swept for Robinho in 2008, it was viewed as a real show of intent by their new owners. The move developed into a disaster, and a £32.5 million transfer fee that Real Madrid received ensured the Spaniard came out of the deal laughing. United have struggled to offload players for some time now. However, the Newcastle takeover could be seen as an opportunity to lure the North East club into deals for some of their players whose stays at Old Trafford might already be numbered. Sources stressed that Martial will not be sold in the summer. But if United were to raise up a generous offer from Newcastle for the forward, who could be looking for their own Robinho, then they will be foolish not to accept. United have to cut their cloth accordingly in the transfer market in the post-pandemic world, and raising funds from NSLs, like Martial, for example, could be the key to landing long-term target Haaland, which is said to be available next year. United will be proactive in putting feelers out to Newcastle for their players because it could be the difference in signing Haaland. It is feasible Haaland could play for United next year, but it won't be Newcastle United.